How do?
How do?
How do indeed. Me and thee, yeah. Sorry, ladies and
me
gents.
and thee.
The other Mike's having a bit of a drama with some comms issues. Funnily enough.
Seeing as it's all about comms tonight, and he's not working.
He'll be joining us in a wee while. So it's just you got the delights of me and Paul at the moment. How are you, mate? Nice weeks worth of work. Did you have?
Oh, I was in the office Monday to Thursday. I've been off today. So today we had the baby scan this morning. So that was an up and early 8:15 scan at the hospital. All was well on that one. So
all good, lovely to hear. Good stuff.
And then rest of the day really, but yeah, just sort of nipped to the shops and got a couple of bits and pieces and just chilled out. It's actually quite nice. You know, it's sort of a bit of a relax. But as I said just a second ago, that's kind of put me in the mood now to just have a little lights off and
just go sleep. Have a little siesta.
Yeah, I'm done. Honestly.
I got big news today.
Yeah, so share the news.
We're talking. I did share it on my Instagram about 45 minutes ago, an hour ago. But I received today in the post, which is relevant to comms, from Mission Tailors. This is a custom-made, a bit of input from me on the design front, and obviously loads of input from Mission Tailors from their part. A custom-made.
The rest of it.
For everything else, literally everything else. Comms pouch. Now, I've always wanted to do this, and I haven't been able to find on the market, if I hold it a bit closer like that, a pouch that would facilitate what I wanted to do. So this will hold two Bofang radios. It'll hold my antenna securely. It'll hold my fist mic for one of my radios there. Excuse it hanging down like that. Obviously, this will be connected to my day sack or my plate carrier, whatever. So one set of comms there, and the PTT for my headset. And the beauty of it is all my comms are held within this pouch. There's two, if I open that top bit up there. So you've got a retaining flap at the top, dual zip, open it up. You've got two radios there with their own designated pouches and obviously storage for cables and additional antenna length cables, stuff like that. And the beauty of it is 4 molly straps on the back. So that'll sit on the side of my plate carrier towards the rear or on the back of my day sack. If I'm changing out my loadout at all. So that will stay on my plate carrier.
Ooh, tactical tear off.
Yeah, so that'll stay on my plate carrier. I've got a blanking plate which comes with this, which will then hide the hook and loop.
Yep.
Close that up. So that is literally going to be on the side of my plate carrier, nice and thin.
Nice.
And then I can take that off.
Blanking plate, he supplied that as well.
He did, yeah. So he done me 2 of the back panels, and he obviously done me the main pouch, and he done me one blanking plate. So whatever one I'm not using, put the blanking plate on, and then this will just Velcro straight onto my day sack. Click the retaining strap down, and that's it. Comms have changed over to my day set seconds, 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, just to change it all out. So that's my little, well happy with it. So Mission Tailors, guys, anything you need custom made, go to Mission Tailors because they are absolutely fantastic people to deal with.
Mustard, isn't it? Absolutely mustard, mate.
I couldn't fault it, mate.
Can I just check if you guys can hear me?
Yeah, so we can absolutely hear you. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you. What a catastrophic exercise to get, the comms issues on the freaking comms episode.
Yeah, we must.
The thing is, I think you was doing what not to do.
Yeah. I was going to wear this to start with, and then it was getting a bit stressful. I wasn't sure if it was this that was causing the issue. So,
just subliminal stress is causing you.
Yeah,
nice, mate. It's a good headset, good reliable headset. That is.
And by Z Tactical.
I think mine's by Comtac or something, or
yeah.
I don't know. Anyhow.
Right, hello everyone in the chat. Sorry, the guys can't see the chat. It's only me. So hi Rage, Wayne, Sean, Les, and the other 5 people that are currently watching that haven't said anything yet. So hello.
Why are you speaking?
We're talking to comms today. Comms and radios. Hand signal.
Is that why no one's fucking talking?
By the tree! They're by the tree! That's a classic.
By the tree.
Yeah. Right, so first off, we're going to get the kind of boring legally bit out of the way because I'll be honest, we're not experts in radios. And at least 4 comments as a minimum on all the videos and in the chat telling us that we're wrong. But I thought it'd be worth just running through the difference between PMR radios and like the normal bio things, which everyone's seen. It's the kind of standard thing that everyone's got. Just to kind of like clear anything up on that. So PMR, so this is a PMR radio. This is a Binatone Action 1000. It's a private mobile radio. I've written this down because I want to make sure I get it right, because otherwise I know that people shout at me. They are a maximum of 5 watts of output, and then license free, you get 8 UHF frequencies, which is ultra high frequency. In America, for our American listeners, I know there's some out there, that's the equivalent of like the FRS and GMRS systems. And one of the kind of the key things, I think, I've never heard of that until about half hour ago when I looked it up.
Just going to sit back and let you deal with this bit, mate.
Can I find that now?
Fixed aerials. So, yeah, that's a PMR radio. Now, Baofeng's. This is one of the more popular ones. This is a UV5RE, but there's various variations. I think we've all probably got one of these that they're all about to get out. So these generally run on 5 watts. So already you're breaching the free PMR regulations by using these.
Actually, darling, I've got the UV9R.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that one in a second. These
I've stolen Mike Marden's UV5R. So Mike is with us tonight. This is my radio, Mike.
Yeah. Well, as Paul's demonstrating, the Baofeng, before he just threw the camera across the room, the Baofengs have a detachable aerial, so you can actually take the aerials off, which again breaches the kind of the free aspect of radio communications. Now, to get round that, you can get something called the Business Radio Simple UK license, which is £75 per organisation for 5 years. So, for example, the Punishers, we all have one. So we've all pitched in, and for 5 years we've got this license that effectively allows us to use up to 5 watts. 5 watts, yeah. What? I was waiting for the other 4. Which is typically your Baofeng. Now, there are also the Baofeng UV9s, which are, I don't know if they're recent or not. I know they're recent to me because Lance and I both recently bought one. Because after a particularly wet MilSim, the Baofeng UV9s are, I don't know if they're waterproof, but they're definitely a lot more waterproof than these ones are.
I bought this on the assumption that it's fully waterproof because the advert has got it sitting in a bloody fish tank bowl with a goldfish next to it.
But what you didn't see is that was inside a plastic container inside the fish tank.
It's either that or the radio was sitting behind the glass fish tank and they were just taking a picture through it.
Well, to be fair, they do say that they are. They do say they are waterproof. They don't say that they're diveable. So I don't understand the difference between waterproof and dive. I mean, who's using a radio when you're diving anyway? Like blah 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 blah. So anyway, yeah, basically that's the difference. So I would highly recommend.
If only there was a Navy SEAL watching now, I'm sure he'd stand us corrected.
You would, yeah.
I highly recommend going and finding out. Sorry, I've just been told I'm very loud. Apparently, is that better?
Keep going.
Lower.
Hello,
that's better.
Can
that's
you
nice.
go?
That's nice. That's good.
Hello, can you go?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Cool. All right. Sorry, everyone in the chat if I've just got louder. So yeah, basically, if you're going to use a Baofeng, then I highly recommend doing your own research, and then obviously not breaching the law. It is the law. I know that there's groups on Facebook that tell you, don't worry about it, they're never going to find it out, you're not going to go and get caught or whatever. But obviously we want to try and make sure everyone's doing things right and proper. So go and do your research and find out on those. So it's only £75 for 5 years for a group.
It's not a lot. So, for a team, if you had to chip in a £5 each or something, guys, or whatever it is you've got to do just to get that license, so you're covered. And not only that, like Mike just said, the legalities that come with it, I'm not sure if there's some way that Ofcom can scan to see if there's an illegal usage of a ham radio somewhere in a certain kilometre radius. And if there was, would it be the individual or would it be the organisation? Now, for me, if you're at a MilSim event and you're using these radios, could it be the organiser A that gets shut down, or would it be the individual within that event? So you could well potentially be messing it up for a lot of people, not just yourself. So, bear it in mind, guys. It's as unserious as we think it is, potentially for an event organiser who could get their whole event cancelled because you haven't got a licence for using these radios. It's something to bear in mind. And like I said, for £5-10 per man, whoever's in your team, it's worth it for 5 years. Do you know what I mean? The outlay is very minimal for the cover you get. So it's there.
There you go.
There you go.
Now,
is that the boring bollocks out of the way now?
That's the boring bollocks. I was just going to talk about the difference between UHF and VHF as well. because these are all the things that are kind of really hard to kind of visually show. I haven't got any graphs or anything.
I like the jazz hand. That was good.
So UHF is basically ultra high frequency, and VHF, as I understand it, is very high frequency. Now, what the difference between that is, I think it's to do with the length of your wave. So it's either ones like that or ones like that.
It's about that much.
That could mean a lot, mate.
Yeah. UHF, you're like this then. UHF is better indoors. It's got less range, but it's got better penetration.
So that's the difference between a successful career and just a one-off shoot.
So VHF is better outdoors, apparently. So
UHF, what does it penetrate better though?
Things like concrete walls and stuff like that. UHF is a lot better, apparently, for if you're doing any indoor CQB and stuff like that. Ultra high frequency is better. It's got less of a range, but because it's got a longer frequency,
you're more contained as
wavelength,
well. Yeah,
it can penetrate through the walls better, apparently.
Yeah, never knew that. That's cool.
Yeah, something to bear in mind. So if you're doing CQB or built-up environments, then UHF is apparently a better option. So,
okay.
There we go. Cool.
Actually,
right, that's
from all our piss taking, quite interesting shit.
It is, isn't it? To be fair, I know. I really wanted to take the piss in, and so I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I actually quite like that."
He blew us away with that last fact.
That was good, Mike. Yeah, that was good. You were good.
Thank you very much.
Getting some loving tonight.
Right, so without going too much more into that, by the way, if anybody wants any more information, there's the Airsoft comms group on Facebook. I highly recommend giving those guys a follow on Facebook. There's loads of really kind of helpful people on there that can ask questions. You'll probably get a few people going, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't know that," but I think you get that on every Airsoft group, so I don't think that's particularly special. But yeah, so let's start pouches wise, because I know obviously Lance, you were talking about your new fancy. I
have covered it, but like I said, yeah, it's I've been dying to get hold of something like this. I've looked at med pouches and that, and they just didn't do what I wanted them to do. And Mission Taylor's, what he's done is just, oh mate, it's got little waterproof covers here, so I've got access in the side of the pouch there. I haven't got to have it hanging out of zips or nothing. There's actually purposely built ports to put run my cables in. There's a couple in the lid there that are underneath elastic, so they're all fully waterproof there and there. All sides, a bit of molly down there. Individual pouches on the inside for each radio to sit in securely. Again, additional fixings in there to hold the cabling secure. It's just I'm blown away by it. And I'm not being funny, but we spoke. Was it after the last episode I contacted him? I think it was. Mm-hmm. So it's a week from initial design on the back of a fag box, which was took a picture of it and messaged it over to him. Bit of to and fro. What about this? How about we try that? To actually getting this was today. So it's 7 days, and this is the turnaround. I mean, it's a cracking bit of kit. It really is.
As I say, I'm beaming ear to ear still with that chest rig that they done. You know what I mean? He's definitely something that I'm going to revisit with certain other items that I want.
Exactly, mate. I mean,
designed and made.
This would be my go-to now all the time. All my comms are contained within that, and the good thing is I've got 2 of these panels which molly onto my plate carrier. So I'll have one on my plate carrier, one on my day sack, and then if you can imagine, that's my plate carrier. Bosh, that's on. Retention strap over the front, just to that added bit of security. And it's quality kit. I mean, look at that.
And the thing that makes it a no-brainer for me is for my Warrior Recon plate carrier. It's the same colour. It's OD. There's no difference when you put it on. You can't see. The clips that he uses are the same clips as Warrior. It's just. So rather than jump on Warrior and think, oh, that one fit, or actually, I want a med kit. But my version of the med kit, I'd like this, and this.
Exactly.
Just jump on there, and it doesn't cost you fortunes either.
Exactly. I mean, that's not too dissimilar from the UK Tactical, the Warrior Commander's admin pouch. Width-wise, very similar size. It's slightly thinner, I think. So from sitting on the side of your plate carrier, it won't stick out as far as a full Commander's admin pouch. It's just proud of the width of the bow fang, or the depth of the bow fang, shall I say, with a little bit of wiggle room for your cables and stuff like that. So,
yep.
But yeah, it's bloody good. there we go. There's a few pictures I've got earlier, a few snapshots of it. So there's the blanking panel there. That's the internal side of it. So there's 2 designated pouches for each bofa, because I run the 2 Bofangs, or if you're only running one, you've got one for mobile perhaps or anything like that, or your power banks like we were talking about the other day. That's it fixed to the day sack on the front there. And obviously they're removed from the day sack, and that's a blanking plate, so that will sit over the hook and loop, just to stop any crap getting stuck into it when you're not using that section.
Yep.
And there we go. There, that's all closed up with a blanking plate. Obviously, it hasn't had the lance treatment yet, so I haven't gone hell for leather with rattle cans on it. So it is a little bit lighter than my other kit, but you can see there that that's well happy with it. So Mission Tailors, thank you very much, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
As a brief interlude, is a top tip for you. So even though it was my day off today, I had a phone call at 5 o'clock with a film company in America who are sending a crew over to where I work to record this video around safety. That's going to be like a global safety video. And she said, "Oh, the team are coming on Monday. They're going to do a bit of a recce, and then the filming's going to be on Wednesday. But can we have a call on Friday?" I'm like, "Oh, it's my day off, but whatever. I'll do the quick call with you 5 o'clock because they're so many hours, whatever, behind, or it'd been 5 hours, wouldn't it? So it'd be 12 o'clock out there." And we jump onto Teams, and I've never used Teams before. We use WebEx where I am at work. So I've jumped on Teams. First things first, my camera, even though my laptop's in front of me, has put me like that. For the whole WebEx, my head was sideways, looking like I was holding onto the ceiling. And then I said, "Oh, I've done a bit of prep for this. I've got a 3D site map, and I've done some bits on there. Stuck it all on PowerPoint, and stuck some maps and some arrows so you can see exactly where else we've got to come in, where you've got to meet, where the meeting room's going to be in the buffet, and then whereabouts we're filming on site." And she said, "Oh, brilliant! Can you share it with the crew?" So bear in mind, this she's done interviews with Bradley Cooper for American Sniper. She's filmed red carpet. She's done promo videos for A-list movies. Yeah,
I can't wait for this.
She's now on Paul Blue Ribbon NoFo.
Yeah. So essentially, what do? I say I'm going to share this presentation with you, and I click on Teams, and it brings up about 12 different presentations all down the bottom. Ones that I've done for management review and all that sort of stuff at work. So I know it's not them. And then there was one there that was called Untitled One, and I thought, well, that's got to be the one that I've just worked on. Was it? No, it wasn't. So what did I share? I ended up sharing my Airsoft loadout, my rucksack that I'd done with all of my night vision all on the side of it. And I said, "Can you see that? Can you see my screen?" And she went, "Yeah." She said, "What is it we're meant to be looking at?" She said, "Because all I can see is a rucksack with like sort of bits next to it, all opened out." And I'm like, "That's not what I'd done, was it?" She said, "It's a very nice rucksack." She said, "But I said, can you get it off? I'll send it to you on email." So I sent it over. We did the presentation. I'm like, "Oh man, what a faux pas." So firstly, I was sideways when I'd been talking to him for the hour that I was on the Teams thing for. And then when I did do my screen share, I screen shared.
Thank God it was a picture of your rucksack and not your ball sack or something, wasn't it?
Well, indeed.
Why would he have a question of that?
Well, everyone has.
Tonight, darling, I think you'll find I'll be entertaining you with this region.
Yeah. And if you look closely here,
this is over the years. This is when I was 21 and had no children, and as I've worked through the years to now 5 children.
Oh,
this is what they look.
Just
if you look at the pie chart,
scale it up.
They went like that. Where my spending went like that.
Balls drop, spending goes up.
Right. On that note, let's jump onto Paul's how. I was going to say Paul's sack, but we're not talking about that.
No,
the way,
I've shared my sack today already.
Oh, the comms pouch. That's what I'm trying to say. Comms pouch. So, how do you keep your comms, Paul?
So,
hang on. Let's see if we can share this.
It's not really anything on there to share with regards to the pouch, but that obviously what I sent you was around the comms that I use.
Yeah.
So I've got essentially the Bofang. So just as we've gone through. Got a couple of those there. I've got another one up in the loft. So one of these, as I say, is Mr. Marden's, and then I've got another one up in the loft with some of my other gear. But to hold that on my plate carrier, I've got the Warrior comms pouch, which you can just see in that picture, just up there. Pretty good, to be fair. Fits in snug as a bug in a rug. And does exactly what it needs to do. Only reason I got it, I did have another one. I had a Viper tactical one that done the trick as well. But when I bought all the Warrior gear, I just stuck one of those in the basket because an extra 20 quid didn't really make much difference to what I'd already just spent.
That's not bad, actually, though. For a comms pouch, I mean, even because Warrior is obviously a better brand than. I think we could all safely say Warrior might potentially be a better brand than Viper, for example. But I think Viper comms pouches are probably about the same price, to be fair. So
I mean, the good thing about UK Tac as well is if you get them on one of their Black Friday deals or whatever, you can get 20% off, or So that's what I tend to do now. Just look out for the bargains, unless it's something I'm desperate for. But yeah, that's essentially it. That's just how I carry the comms around in that one. I don't know if you want me to talk through the comms or if you want to do that in a bit.
Talk through yours first, and then because mine sort of leads into the other as well. So,
all right. So if you want to jump to the first slide, then, or whatever it was, the one that
this is Paul's backpack.
Was just on. Yeah, there we go. Right. So I've got my backpack. So a couple of different comms that I run. So these were first of all, I had just a throat mic with an in-ear. And I used that for quite a while. And do you know what? For 12 quid, I think it's like a Retrievis or something like that. For 12 quid off of eBay, done the trick. Still got one now on my chest rig, nice and low profile. And not really much can go wrong with it. So I had that, and then I moved over to one of these. So this is like the Bowman style.
Yeah, it's spot on now.
And it's really good. It took me a little while to figure out which way I was meant to put it, with this green strap bit and all that. But yeah, really, really like that. That's a good bit of kit. And then after watching a review from a very popular, for some and infamous for other, pair of YouTubers, stumbled across the Raycals. So it's the Raycal Frontier in-ear amplified sound. So it amplifies the external sounds that you can hear around, so the general background noise. But if a flashbang lands at your feet, it reduces it to a safe level so it doesn't damage your hearing.
It has got ear protection as well, is it?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, nice.
So
I didn't know they had that, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it does, mate. So I've had one land when I was in the trench pit. I was going to say when I was in the trenches. When I was in the trenches. Oh,
back in the day.
Back in the day. Kicking rats away. We were kicking rats, trying to eat our bully beef.
With your Raycals in.
With my Raycals in, yeah. So when I was in the trench apocalypse at the back of Stockade, I had a Mark V land on my feet, literally lit right in front of me, my left foot. Went off. And these things just reduced that sound down to a level that didn't make my ears bleed, and everything else go with it. So,
Mike, do you remember at Longmoor when that Mark V landed in my dump pouch?
Well, yeah, we had about 90 Mark V's land on us generally.
Honestly,
in that
Paul,
game.
it's like slow-mo. It came up over the fob wall. It went bonk. I went boom.
Which one was that? Which Glad was that?
That was Gladius 2, I think.
It was Gladius 2, yeah.
So that was my first one.
Oh, mate, it was brilliant.
And we took, so it might have been us, myself, Steve, Jarrett, Sean Cooper, and Dennis was there from Wolf Recon team. We bought a box of Mark V's and a box of
I think I remember you talking about that at APOC as well, because it was because Gladius 2 was a week after the DEA event, I think, at Apocalypse. Mike, am I right or wrong with that?
And it was quite fair weather, I think.
It was nice. It was good. It was good. It was a good event.
It wasn't a cold one. So I ended up at one point running around with a rucksack full of Mark V's.
Yeah,
and I literally was standing there.
I
think you might have done. So there's actually a video of
that
me
was
going
hell
towards. We went towards the Alamo. We was trying to take the Alamo, and it was one of those ones that you had to tag launch the front door 3 times to get the door in.
That's right.
Or Mark 5 it like 5 times or whatever. And I'm standing there literally with a rucksack on, with my back turned like this, whilst Jarrett is behind me with the bag open, getting Mark 5s out and just going over the fence, over the fence, over the fence.
It was insane. It was awesome. It was insane because we come out of that wood block to the, I think it's to the north of the Alamo, isn't it?
Yep.
The opposite side to town, not town
South.
side, the woodland
Yeah.
side, south side. We come out of that wood block and we managed to get up to the perimeter wall, got some rounds down on the sangers and that, so we could get nice and close. And as we come up to the throat of that front gate, to the front right sanger, that's it. Oh mate, oh my god!
It was literally raining Mark 5s. I genuinely, I don't even.
There was no break in the sound between the first one going off and the second one. It was horrendous.
At one
Brilliant.
point,
I loved it.
At one point, Mike, the organizer, came over and was like, "Guys, you're mush at this point. Just go. You're not getting medicked. You're
I don't want to go.
You're just vapor.
He's just like me and Mike just looking at each other, just laughing hysterically at all the noise. Just like,
I think this is really, the other this is great because, you know, I didn't know when I first did that, you know, and obviously I knew of you guys and we'd sort of chatted here and there or whatever, but didn't really know you guys like I know you now. So to stumble across the fact that we've actually been linked in this way, you know, an event that happened 2 years ago is quite bizarre.
Yeah, it was cool. It was brilliant. It was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
But the thing is, we got it, and you lot went back, and then Blue 4 come out and absolutely smashed our doors in anyway. So we went to bed for something and had something to eat after. But yeah, so these Raycals, they do work. They're a cracking bit of kit. And where'd you get the Raycal set up from? So this lot here I purchased from JCI Comms. So there is a review of these on the THG channel, that Tim done, and basically it swayed me into getting them. So the left ear is your audio in on the earpiece. The right ear is your bone conducting microphone out. So you don't get any audio through the right ear; it only comes through the left ear. And your right ear is your mic. Your right ear is your microphone, and then that goes through into that LEM unit. So the LEM unit there, which is the bottom left and the bottom middle picture, that's your turn off and on. So if you put them in, it sounds like you've got a standard pair of PPE headphones in. You know, like if you just put your fingers in your ears and you can't hear much. When you turn that on, all of a sudden you can hear an enriched outside sound, where it's amplifying the outside noise. But that unit essentially is the unit that controls the bang, and I think it reduces it down to something like 70 odd decibels or something, 75 decibels. So it reduces it down to a comfy limit. So regards, you know, you're looking at 80, 85 decibels in a workplace, you've got to mandatory wear PPE. So if you can imagine being 75, it's noisy for talking conversation. Yeah, exactly that. So that's the LEM unit. And then from the LEM unit, then it goes down into that PTT. So that is, and there's a picture of that on the other page. I'll talk about the PTT in a sec. But then obviously you can see down the bottom there, the earplug bits. So these were originally used, from what I've read about, by the British Army. I think it might be in Afghanistan or something like that. And they were issued as a set of comms to them. Now, what the British Army did was, and I don't know if it's all units or certain units, they'd have the moulded earplugs made.
That's right. Yeah, I've got some of them.
Yeah, so the moulded earplug, which is a great idea because, you know, they're exactly the perfect fit. But when you're out there fighting wherever, if you lose one of your earplugs, you're buggered, and they're 45 to 90 quid for a new set. So I think they basically sort of shot themselves in the foot by not being practical in a theatre of operation with regards to these moulded earplugs. Now, the ones that fit over mine,
sort of having a universal fit sort of thing.
Yeah, so the ones that fit over mine, they're Surefire, or I think they're Surefire. I think it's Surefire or something along those lines. And they're just foam, and they sit over the top. And these literally, you can either take the metal off or leave the metal on, depending on how big your ears are. But they sit over your ears, and then they just sit in. And they're essentially exactly the same concept as what singers wear at a concert. Sit behind your ears, and you can hear yourself through them or whatever. But with these ones, obviously, they're just for comms. Right. And they're a cracking little set. and you know, for a low profile. So expense wise, I mean, I've had these a couple of years now, and I paid a $1 for them. But
that's surprising. I expected that to be a bit more. To be fair.
Yeah, no, the U94 was a bit more on top of that as well. I'd have to dig the price out, and I can stick it on there. But if you speak to JCI Comms, I think you can get these now anyway. I don't know. I think there's different versions. So you've got like the Frontier thousands all the way up to the 1400s and the 1600s, I think. And I meant to jump up and find out which ones these were. So I will have a look and post it on the page. Just
for the price, simple. So from the Kenwood 2-pin plug, which goes into your Bofang, all the way around to the tip of your earbuds that go in, that's the £100.
So from the U94 up to the in-ear bits, that's the one. And then there was the U94 that goes down into the Kenwood, which was like however much it was on top of that. But that anyone will fit that. So I've got, for example, what's this one? Yeah. So I've got this one here, which is just a bog standard off internet U94. Oh, there's me. Yeah. So bit of a softer click on this, but this is cheap as chips. So those Raycals will plug into that no problem. So really, if you've got a U94, then you're golden. You can go straight away.
Oh right, because I know some companies can be funny with their PTTs who work like my Earmore, my Mod 3 MR32s. They'll only fit. They'll only work with an Earmore PTT. So
no, I've plugged them into the others, mate. they work fine on mine. So that then that goes. The only reason that I got the U94 is one, it was a genuine one, but also I gave him the measurements, and so I told him whereabouts my comms pouch was, to where I wanted my U94 to be, and then he makes that cable to the length that you require. So if you want a 60 centimeter cable, he'll make a 60 centimeter cable to go from your PTT to your Baofeng. If you want it 20 centimeters, or if you run it on your front and you only need it, 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters, he'll do that to that length.
Right. Okay.
Whereas the Raycal unit length, I think for the majority of that is a fixed length of cabling. So
right.
So they are. I'd recommend them, but I would also recommend having a chat with the guy at JCI Comms. They run off of a AAA battery. Yeah, single AAA. Which, so you've got the buttons that side, you flip it over the other side, AAA battery, jobs are good. And they'll last and last. I mean, I've run it for, and I don't play every weekend, don't get me wrong, but, I've not changed the battery in a year that I've been playing.
It's a tidy looking setup, mate.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, if you jump onto the next slide, not wanting to waffle on too much. So this is it woven into my my Warrior plate carrier. So as you can see there, over my left kidney, I have the comms pouch. I will at some point change that. I quite like the idea of when we went through it, Lance, that time, and you showed me having the comms up front for accessibility.
For sure,
but the cabling wasn't, and the pouch setup and all that. So I need to do a bit of a rethink on that at some point. But essentially, it runs out of there. It goes into the LEM unit, all the way up through over my left shoulder into the PTT, and then jobs are good, and goes back obviously into the earpiece. When I'm not using the earpieces, I just tuck them in the rucksack on the back when it's being stored.
That's perfect. And you've had no problems with them popping out or anything. They just sit there nice and snug. And
so depending on the size of your ears, then so I know some people, they've got. I don't know if you can see it. You can almost see the plastic bit going from the earpiece. It kind of curves round like an L.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So that bit there is like a thick plastic. Now, some people I know that have got these have cut that plastic bit off because they've got small ears. So they cut that off so it sits a bit nicer behind their ears. Because what you also get on the back there for the two cables is like you get with some glasses that have got the the string hanging off of them. You've got the pull cord to put them tight to the back of your head.
Yep.
So once they're in, you can zip them back tight to the back of your head so it holds them nice and tight in place.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I must admit, I was a bit sceptical on them because I was thinking they ain't going to work. Do you know what I mean? But when I put them in and switched them on, and the amplified sound come in, and then that Mark V landed on my foot, I thought, yeah, that's good as gold. So the U94, that's a genuine Nexus U94, and that you can honestly you can tell the difference in the quality. So with this one here that I've got, which I've launched over the bed now, I can just don't know if you can hear that, but there's no click to that. It's like a very soft push. That genuine one, you kind of feel it. There's no risk of pushing it by accident. If you want to talk, you've got to push it.
Yes, yeah.
So I've had that done, and I love that bit of kit. There's no clip, so it operates off of the elasticated back, so you can fit it in whichever way you want. You're not restricted on that. And then the other bit that they've done for me at JCI is that they put a 3.5mm jack into it. So on my downtime, if I've got me headphones in, I've got a cable that goes from my iPhone that plugs into that 3.5mm jack, and I can listen to my music through the raycals if I want.
That's cool.
Yeah. So if you're having a bit of it's what I mean, it's not necessary. But if you're just sat there for half hour having something to eat,
now we know why Paul's dancing around in the Sanger.
Yeah. Doing my best The Office dance. But yeah, I mean that is I love them. But if I had to go in and play a weekend with a 12 quid Retrievers throat mic, an 18 quid Bowman style headset, 100 odd quid set of raycals, or my other unit, they've all worked for me. So don't be discouraged by the fact that someone's got a super expensive set of headphones. We played at Apocalypse, and there was 180 people turned up on the day. 50 of them were Lithuanians, that Thomas and his crowd. And bear in mind, these guys, I think, just meet up for a weekend just to shoot each other from 2 foot away with 500 FPS blooming sniper rifles just to get used to being hit. And they literally, that 50 went up against 130 people over 3 games and absolutely smashed our back doors in because they were running comms. You had 2 teams of 25 Lithuanians, a team leader on each. The team leaders had joint comms between the 2, and then the 2 sub-units of 25 each all had comms between each other, ranging from cheap little 5 quid sort of in-ears that you kind of get when you buy a bad thing, through to 20 quid, 25 quid, 30 quid, whatever headphones. And it didn't matter. They could hear, they could speak, and they absolutely owned it.
The fact they're talking to each other, I mean, I think the key message for this episode is you can have any kind of radio, in all honesty, but having that communications to work as a team makes a massive difference.
Yep.
Because it's much better than
comms
talking
is
through the forest,
definitely
shouting at
key.
each other.
Yeah, throat mic. If I'm going if I've got my chest rig on, and we're going door kicking when we're out with you guys next at Longmoor, it'll be a throat mic, 12 quid Retrievers throat mic. If I've got my plate carrier on and we're going on patrol somewhere, then chances are I'll have those in. I'm not fussed, with really what I use. My bugbear is that a lot of the time people go, let's get comms, but no one uses them.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, Paul, what do you use as an aerial?
So that aerial is from it's from SNR. I think it's SNR Comms or SNR Aerials or something like that. They've got a Facebook page. I'll put the link on.
Rach has just asked whether 2 yogurt pots on a piece of string work. To be honest, mate, if you've got comms between you and another person, you are going to trounce the 2 other people that don't.
Yeah, as long
As long as me and Rachel File get to eat the yogurts each first.
just dunk a blue ribbon in the yogurt, it'll be fine. No need for spoons.
I'm all yours. You had me at blue ribbon. Yeah. So that's from. I'll get the. It's a Facebook guy, SNR Comms or SNR Aerials or something like that. So that is, I've got the standard Baofeng aerial. It's about the length of a pencil. But I found at Apocalypse very hilly, very woody. I was losing comms with people. If I was at, say, Jeep and they were at Stockade or the Village or whatever, he was losing comms with those short aerials. So that aerial there is from SNR. It's like a super improved amplified type aerial from what I can tell. It's about 1 meter long, so it runs up through behind that rucksack there of mine and then goes over my left shoulder and comes out just literally. You can just see the tip on that top middle photograph there, the black tip just to the right of the U94. Yep. It just comes out there, and that has massively improved the range that I get off of that little 25 quid, 30 quid radio. So again, that's by the it's difficult to put a price on that. I don't think it was overly expensive. I'll go back through my messenger checks. I do tend to lose track on what I spend because I tend to buy quite a few things, but I'll go back through that and I'll find that comment. But that was in 1 meter. But again, if you want meter and a half, if you want half a meter or whatever it is, he'll make you one to that. It's got improved fitting, so it fits. It's got an improved fitting, gold fittings into the top of your radio or whatever. My understanding of technology on this sort of level is quite slim. So, I have to go by what people tell me with regards to their experience, what the experts tell me, and then hope that, I don't get bitten by any bullshit, which thankfully, the people that I've dealt with, I haven't done yet.
I mean, that's it. With your antennas, mate. I mean, I had some issues with my comms at Longmoor, and luckily enough, they had a guy there who's one of the event organisers and staffs there, and he's actually bob on with his comms, and he was talking to me about the antennas and that, and he said it's very dependent on the length of the antenna you have, is on the power of your radio and your setup. Like for the Baofeng's example, he says you don't, like some guys who've got these huge whip antennas. He said you can use a whip antenna, he said, but you don't want to get one that's massively long. He said like under 40 centimeters really is ideal for a Baofeng because of the power output. That there, exactly that. I mean, the one that comes with the UV9R now is extendable, which is pretty cool.
Not on all of them.
Yes, it is.
It's not on all of them because the one I bought, it definitely wasn't extendable.
Oh, I don't know where it is now.
Fucking postman's nicked your long one.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah,
it's here. There we go. So that's the aerial that comes with the UV9R, which is there. But obviously, if you unscrew the top of it, it'll extend out. So if you are static, you can obviously have an extendable aerial on it, or it can go back to being a little 4-inch stubby one.
Give it a rub, Mike. It might grow.
Yeah,
Mike's one doesn't come with one, but he's.
I mean, I'll talk about aerials when we get down to mine because I've got a whole cluster of aerials to talk about literally in front of me.
Cool.
But so it does make a difference depending on your aerial.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's one last photo for me really just to go through on that one then on mine. But what I will say on that aerial, that SNR, he did say to me he has made them. He sent them, but people said, "Oh, it makes no difference whatsoever." And when he's got back in touch with them, he's running them under a hydration pack. He said, and if you tuck all your aerial up behind 3 litres of water, he said it's gonna.
It's all line of sight as well. It's like it needs to be up. If you're laying prone and it's pointing down, it needs to be up, sort of behind you, or a better way to be staying up still. Things, especially if you're laying prone on the ground and the aerial's going down, it's all line. A lot of it's all line of sight. So you need to have that antenna. The antenna needs to be up somehow. Manipulate it to be up in the air. If you're not.
So yeah, exactly. So the last one really, then I've gone through the Bowman part. The Bowman style headset, but the other pair that I have got is McCann's. So these are the Peltor Compact Contact XPIs. So they do exactly what the Raycals do to a point, but the amplification of sound is phenomenal on these. So you could literally hear a sparrow fart with these things. They are phenomenal. I can't beat them up enough, but they ain't cheap. So when I talk about quite happily using different ones, you do notice the difference between what you get through these versus what you get through a throat mic. However, throat mic use can be just as effective as these. So these have batteries either side. Only difference with these ones is so you stick them on, obviously, you've got your but these will go through both ears rather than the Raycals go through one. But yeah, they are cracking. If you ever get a chance to stick a pair of these on, just to give them a try, you know, they are good. Don't use them enough, really. But you know, you stick them over a peak cap or anything like that. I don't run a lid at the minute. That'd be something that I potentially do for the future when I want to do a lid and do it properly, and I'll stick those on there. But yeah, you know, just the various ones that I use really. But the one that I use most as a go-to is the Raycals.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
And that's me.
Nice, mate. That's a cracking few options there, isn't it? On all ends of the spectrum, really.
How's the battery life in the headset?
So these ones, these run off of 2 AAAs. So if you take so you got this bit here. So there's a AAA there, and then there's a AAA there, and again these ones, hours. You know, I'll do a Google and I'll find out. You know, but these are the same. The Raycals I was running best part of a year. Didn't need to replace the batteries. You know, and these are rated as pretty much being the same. I will have a little Google just while you guys have a chat and see if I can pull that fun fact out for you. What I will say about these ones compared to the Raycals, upside with the Raycals is you don't sweat your ear holes off in the summer. You stick a set of cans on in the summer when it's, you know, 80 degrees or whatever out, and you know it. You can get cooling pads that replace these current ones.
Gel pads, aren't they?
Yeah, but you know, sweaty Betty all day long with them. Whereas the Raycals is just a little in-ear jobby. Yeah. I'm going to have a little Google now, see if I can find that battery.
He's going to jump on the Googles.
I am, honest. Look, it's my Nespresso order. Right.
Is it me, Mike?
Yeah. Do you want to wish for yours? If I can talk about aerials if you want.
All right, and you can talk about aerials then. Right, so yeah, this was sort of echoing last week, guys, with the whole power pack stuff that we've been using, and the fact that you can charge the Bowfangs from with a USB connector, which is cool. The older UV5R came with a like a 3.5 pin 230 volt in the wall sort of charger, so that wasn't possible. But obviously with these ones now, and I believe the UV9R docking station also charges the UV5R battery as well, which is a bit of a result, which I tried the other day. So
without interrupting, sorry, I know I have interrupted. You can get a cable to charge to replace the on the UV5R charger. It replaces the cable and 3-pin.
Because my cable's my cable's hardwired into the back of my dock though.
See, mine are all like little plug them in, almost the same as the UV9R.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's all right. So there you go then. Yeah, so you can do best of both worlds with that then. So yeah, that's my UV9R. And obviously it's purely just showing that you can charge it in the field if it's running low. I mean, that's ideal for me because obviously I run 2 UV9Rs, one for Zero, one for Team Comms. So if I ever get any downtime, I can just quickly bosh it into the docking station, remove it from my brand new comms pouch, which I got today.
And a new comms pouch.
I have, have you not seen it yet? I'll show you.
It's going to bed tonight, cuddling that.
I will be like that with a new pillow. I'm going to
sorry, love. You're on the sofa tonight, sweetheart.
Yeah. Don't get that side. That's the comms pouch side of the bed. But yeah, it's just so if I'm on downtime, I can whack it in the docking station, charge it up for 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, just to give it a bit of juice. So it's just purely just to show just a chargeability of them as well in the field if you need to on the first pick a jaw. And this is my sort of lid setup. 9 times out of 10. Oh, what I've got here, these are the Earmore MR32 Mod 3 head cans with the Earmore. So obviously it's been lancified, the PTT, it's sprayed with paint and shit all over it. So that's my lid setup basically for sort of CQB buildings, things like that. I'd only sort of run them. Well, potentially I'd run them. What I did is I bought the earmores with the headband arrangement, if you like, rather than buying the earmore headset, which is purely for going on a skid lid, because you don't get the headband with it then. So I thought, right, let's get the best of both worlds out of it if we can. So it was about 57, 60 quid for the headset. Obviously, it comes with a headband, and what you would have to do if you do want to mount them onto a skid lid eventually is cut the faux leather sort of strapping around the headband to remove the cable which interlinks the two cans. But you can see there's an MTP replacement. You can pick them up off eBay for about 15 quid, which is just which is like a foam cover to go around the headband bit. But that's primarily for my helmet setup, and I run my MVGs and my cans with that helmet there. 9 times out of 10. It'll be just my Bowman headset, which I'll be running if I was out in the field or in woodland or open spaces all day long. It'll either be a Bowman or I'd have the trusty Retevis fist mic. I love using a fist mic. It's quality. You have it nice and low. You can mount it up in your chest rig there. You can have it anywhere you like. It's very versatile for mounting it. And quite a few of the guys in the team actually run fist mics. And I know Daniel runs a fist mic. Or a tack phone, which will be on the next slide there. But that's my helmet setup, if you like, and obviously you've got the option of the headband there. If you're running, like Paul said earlier, with a baseball cap or something, you can run it with a headband setup there. And that's the Bowman headset from Comtac. It's about I'd say about 30 quid, Mike, I reckon, for the headset. Yeah. PTT again isn't too much more. I mean, that PTT there, ladies and gents, it's got to be 5 years old now, and that's still going strong. And that's this one I hold in my hand here. So that's I know obviously some cheaper kit, it don't last forever, and in a way, yeah, it doesn't really matter, because if you bought a PTT for 15 quid and it busts after 4 or 5 MilSim events, then you get another one. But I've been lucky. Maybe I had an extra special one made for me. I got luck of the draw with that one. But essentially that is what I would run 9 times out of 10 during the day, patrolling, woodland, anything like that. It's such a comfortable headset to wear. What I have done with the Bowman headset is I've changed the strapping arrangement. So rather than having the strap that comes with the headset, it's got the green netting over the top. And so you've got sort of like 3 points of contact, like Mike's got there. I've actually changed it for a British Army helmet strap, which comes with a tactical torch loop stitched around the side of it. So it holds the headset really nice, and I find it a bit more comfortable. But what you can do, if you do go down this road, guys, of changing your head strap out, the part of the Bowman head strap which goes over your head actually acts as a really nice watch guard as well. The little netting bit, it actually sits over the face of a watch and runs around your wrist, and it actually protects your watch. On a tactical point of view, it also stops a bit of shine in that off the lens of the watch as well, because you've got that little bit of web in there, so you can just run it round over your wrist, and sort of adds a bit of safe bit of protection to your watch strap. But that's basically that. 90% of the time I've run that, unless I'm running my lid. Then I run my Earmore MR32s, which is really good. Like they create ambient sound. They've got noise cancelling setting in there as well, fully adjustable, and they'll run a AAA battery in either can to power it. So cracking bits of kit, really good. But like Paul said, I don't use them enough, because a lot of the events I do, it's mostly woodland and that. So 9 times out of 10, like I said, I run my Bowman, and there's another 2 options there. There's me Retevis IP46 rated, so it's waterproofish on the right hand one to a point. You could certainly take it out in the rain and it wouldn't be too bad, but I wouldn't get it actually soaking wet. Great little fist mic, that is perfect. Sounds perfect on it. And then on the left-hand side, another Tomtac tactical phone, with a little PTT on the side of it. So it's a bit more tactical, if you like. So keep the noise down. Obviously the fist mic on the right there, the noise is just going to blurt out. If you've got it mounted in a certain position, you haven't got to have it up loud to hear someone talking to you. Obviously your ears are free for noise as well. But the Contact phone, obviously it's to your ear like a normal handset. You can turn it up. You can turn your Bofang up proper loud and then not have it to your ear, and you could hear comms quite clearly out of it as well. But you could turn it down a lot more than you can the fist mic, and be a bit more subtle with it. It's again 2 great options. I've had that phone on the left there for again another 3 or 4 years. That's a 25 quid purchase off of eBay. I'll try and find some links afterwards. I'll go back through my purchase history and see if I can find them, and if I can, I'll post up where I got it from, and then if anyone's interested. But yeah, again, it's 2 options. If you're not comfortable wearing you don't think like things in your ears, or you don't want to wear a headset, or it's a nice go-to. It's nice and quick. Especially if you're just chilling out back at your fob and you've got a little bit of downtime, you can just sit there. You can have your fist mic just resting across your lap or your tack phone, and you haven't got to worry about headsets and things like that. It's just there in front of you. So yeah, it's a couple of options that I always use, and I'll always take them with me just as purely as backups. If a headset goes down, you need something quick. They take up minimal room. I mean, the fist mic, I've got the fist mic here, tiny little bit of kit. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't notice it in a spare pouch or something, or in a side pouch of a day sack. So if someone else's comms go down, you can lend it to them or whatever. So it's always handy, and they're relatively inexpensive, really, guys.
Just stumbled across in my chat.
So you can get little earpieces for the fist mic as well.
You can, yeah. I'm not sure. I think this one does come with no, this one doesn't come with the in-ear piece on it. This is purely just a fist mic. But I know what you're saying. My earmores come with a 3.5 jack, but that's not for an earpiece. It's actually for a second PTT, which comes with it. So with the earmore, you get a second PTT, which is a small cable, tiny little square of Velcro back. So you could even mount that to your riff, or you can have it to your wrist or something like that. So you can have a tiny little push to talk without moving. I think a lot of guys have it mounted to the inside of their finger there. So if they are laying prone, they can still operate the PTT off of that finger rather than having to reach up to there. They can still hold the rifle and operate it like that. So that's another little good option with the earmores.
I've just skimmed back through my chat with JCIs. So that was 140 all in. So from the earpiece all the way through to the genuine PTT, genuine U94 with the built-in 3.5 jack, and the cabling all the way down. So literally, when it was delivered, slap it on your chest rig or your plate carrier or whatever, plug your radio in, good to go.
Nice. So basically, everything in that first image, and apart from the Bofang for 140, that's what you
140, got. Yep, exactly that.
That's good. There's fair play, mate. Yeah, can't say fairer than that.
And then the other thing was the contacts have got a 45-hour solid use battery life.
Bloody hell, that is good.
Yeah.
Nice. These are a couple of so on my setup, these are a couple of relocation cables which I use. Again, I'll get links for these guys. Again, inexpensive. I mean, eBay. I mean, it's the right-hand one. If you've got a bit of coaxial cable at home, you could probably pretty much make one yourself. The left-hand one is from a Polish Airsoft company. I can't remember the name of them at the minute, but I will find a link to it. But the great thing about the left-hand one is that it's quick release. So if I've got it on this, which I haven't, I took the radio out. But basically, there's my PTT there. There we go. So the good thing about this one is that you haven't got that's it. It's fitted now, and that's a 360 turn and that maintaining connection. So you're not loose. I'm not loosening that off at all. So I could spin that around all day and it'll stay on. What you've got there is a little. It's like a snap lock for almost like a hydraulic cable, like a hydraulic hose. That's clipped in now. Just turn it half an inch and it'll just pull off. So that's my relocation cable for my primary comms back to zero.
Half an inch, half through.
Aye. But yeah, a couple of relocation cables, guys. I mean, if you're running a fixed antenna straight to the headset, to the handset, you're not going to need them. But 9 times out of 10, people have the Bofang in a pouch, a relocation, running along a webbing strap up to the back of your shoulder or something like that. I mean, like I said, with the antenna position, you need to think about where you position it, because if you do go prone and your antenna's pointing down, it's going to compromise your comms. So you need to keep that. The tip of the antenna's got to be at least at the back of your shoulder blade, so just so it does keep it up a bit. Or if you're laying on your front and your antenna's coming out the front of you, obviously it's going to hook to the back. So vice versa. If you run your comms at the front, which a lot of the time I do, I'll run my whip antenna up. So if I am laying prone, it's going to angle off that way, if you like. And if it's on your back, the antenna needs to stop sort of there, just so it's pointing forwards, if you like. It's hard to do that. But yeah, relocation cables, various lengths and sizes you can get, guys. And
ProScan dash antenna on eBay. For that.
And whatever you do, don't suck on it for half hour thinking it's your hydration bladder.
For the left hand one, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, nice one. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. But yeah, that's my couple of relocation cables, guys. Like I said, you haven't got to use them. If you're running just a handset, then you just screw the antenna straight into the top of the bowfang itself, just like there. But then obviously you've got the relocation cable. If you're running the pouch and you want your aerial to be mounted higher up the body, then again, that's something you're going to need. And not overly expensive at all, really. And this is the bowfang. This is the UV9R. So with the UV5R, you get a the 2-pin Kenwood connection straight into the side. One thing with the UV5R you may have to watch is I've had a couple of items that I've bought, PTTs. What I've had to do is I've had to shave a bit off the plug where it plugs into the side of the handset, because what you'll find is that the pins are slightly offset on the black plastic mould where it goes in, where it plugs into the side of your radio. So if you look at it, and when you try to plug it in, it's trying to catch the edge of the wall of the radio set. So you might have to get yourself a nice little sharp little scalpel and just shave a bit of that, make a bit of a curve to the plug point. So if you're getting problems with your comms and you haven't done that, it's definitely worth having a look, because what you'll find is that those 2 pins are literally catching on the edge of the body of the radio set, and they're not connecting all the way. Whereas if you just shave a little bit off that black rubber silicone that's around the 2 pins, you'll find you'll get a much better connection, and it will actually stay into the handset better. I only found out with the UV5R. Obviously, with the UV9R, Mike, if you can just flick back to that one,
Sure.
the connection's a lot better, because you actually have to screw that on the right hand side of that radio set. That actually clicks up and in with about, I think it's like a 9-pin contact, copper pin contact, and then your Negi screwdriver. There's a grub screw at the bottom there to screw it into the side, so it's actually screwed into the radio set. And then all day long, you can click in multiple Kenwood 2-pin connectors into that free falling adapter there, and that just, it's obviously it's not the strongest cable in the world, so you've got to be careful and mindful of it snagging on something, because it potentially could break. But it's secured in the pouch.
It's also not the most expensive to replace, though, is it? So
to be fair, mate, yeah, I mean, I think that's less than, I say it's less than a tenner for one of them, Mike, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
So they work really, really well. I mean, I've charged my comms with these new handsets and the new PTTs and that, and it's crystal clear. No problems at all. Even wiggling the contacts when you're talking, there's no interference or anything like that. And like Mike said, they're inexpensive to replace. If you do break one, it's not the end of the world.
One thing just to compare, hopefully this works, is so if you see on the screen, this is the dial for volume on the 5R, and if you look at the UV9R, it's got that little guard around the side. I find that helps quite a bit, just in terms of stopping you basically from accidentally turning down your accidentally turning down your comms, because that makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
You're going to show off your... Oh, yeah, I've got all the rest of photos of your pouch after this. Oh,
you did, yeah. So that's
that
the new
pouch there,
comms pouch. So that's the new comms pouch from.
We haven't got to talk about this again, do we?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't at all. But there it is. That's it.
Right.
It's mounted on the webbing set.
How do you get on with your aerial?
Do what, mate? Sorry.
Your folding aerial. How do you get on with that?
It's 9 times out of 10 it stays folded. The only time I'll ever have it fully erect is if I'm back at the fob.
I'm sitting here thinking, is he going to go there? Is he going to go there? Yeah, he never let me down. He never lets me down.
But yeah, that's the only time it'll ever be fully up, is when I'm back at the fob with you, Mike.
Yeah. As always.
You asked, love. You asked.
What happens on the MilSim stays on the MilSim.
That's it, yeah. But I've never had any problems with that. I mean, obviously, Apocalypse is a bit of a conundrum for comms. Sometimes you've got it, sometimes you haven't. It's just the undulating land and things like that, and it peaks and valleys and stuff. So, yeah, that whip antenna, I've never had a problem using that. And that's, again, something else I bought, which is inexpensive off of eBay.
It works, mate.
That's it, mate, exactly.
This is the back of my plate carrier. So I'm going to talk about aerials first. So these are the standard stock UV5R aerials. They're okay. They're not great. I will just make myself a bit bigger while we're talking about these so you can actually see them. So that's the standard one. I did a little bit of research and I bought 3 comparable aerials to talk about. So the first one is the proper long. This one extends to some ridiculous distance over here. It looks super cool, super tactical. I didn't find it was that much use. You generally, as Lance said, tend to keep it folded up. One thing I would say with this one is it actually turns out, I think, to be a tape measure on the inside. You can see
A lot of them are, mate.
Which isn't necessarily, I mean, it still works as an aerial. Whether it works as efficiently, I'm not sure about. So what I did, I actually bought a shorter version of that. So I've got this little blade. So this is roughly the length of my forearm. And this one's quite nice because it does just fit literally on the back and it stays proper rigid. Now, the only thing with that is the fact that I was finding this was clipping bushes and trees and lot. So if you're going through anywhere that's really, really vegetated, this is not so good because it doesn't give any flexibility. And I was finding that was catching a lot of the time. And I've actually started to just slightly bend the base of that. I don't know, to be honest, because it's all heat shrink wrapped and stuff. I don't know how much damage I might have done to that. So I did a little bit of Googling, and then turns out this is one of the better aerials, apparently. This is a Nagoya NA177. There's lots of rip-off versions of this. This one cost me 50 quid. You can get them for £10 on eBay.
Is that a standard Airsoft 50 quid?
No, this one actually was 50 quid. But this one's got a lot more flexibility in it. I mean, don't know how clear that is on the webcam, but that one mounted behind me on the back.
That aerial,
all sorts of stuff, and there's no problem with that at all.
That aerial got me out of a game once because I had it mounted.
It did, didn't you?
I had it mounted on the back of my rig, but I had it mounted in such a way that when I ran, it whipped and went, and it hit me in the back of the head. So I've started running and go, hit. I don't know what the fuck is here. So I started. So I thought, no one's hit me. So I started, and then it did it again. I was like, fuck.
Hit, dead man.
Hit, dead man. And it worked until I started trotting back. I felt it lightly. I was like, oh, you tosser. It was your aerial.
I won't lie. That's
at
really
least
got
you
me
called it.
But I did call my hit.
Myself out. But yeah, that is something to bear in mind. It does flop about, but that floppability is a little bit better for bushes and bits and pieces like that.
Going back to the other one, the rigid aerial that you just had. So
what? Just say that, Paul, sorry, mate. I just want to confirm with Mike that a floppy aerial is better for the bush.
Yes, a floppy aerial is much better than the bush. A rigid aerial is better for urban environments and like behind dumpsters and stuff like that.
A rigid one gets you 5 kids.
Yeah.
So is that? Did you say that's a tape measure on the inside?
No. So this one isn't. This one is a proper aerial. This one, which I'm not going to name who it's from because I don't want to embarrass anybody. I say it does still work as an aerial, but
is it the same company I bought my one from?
It possibly was, yes.
No.
But that is basically. You can see the markings of the tape measure on there. I don't know how clear that is on
basically, Paul, it's a bog standard aerial connection with a tape measure soldered to the end of it, and it's covered in black heat shrink.
So, do we think that like a cheap B&Q aerial has got shit conductivity versus like a Fat Max from Stanley?
Well, this is it. I mean, I've never thought of a tape measure being an aerial before, but I might bring one along with me though. Just to there you go.
I think I've got Bear Grylls on my mobile. I might phone him out and ask him. So,
the other thing to consider with these, unless you're actually going to extend them out, there's not much point in having it short because you're not really getting any difference between that one and that one in terms of length. I don't know. It's very hard to show on the living background I've got. Here you go.
That one that I've got on mine, that one from S&R Comms, that was 35 quid for a metre.
That's the cable one.
Yeah, for a metre aerial, yeah.
So I've also got one of those. I got mine from Baz at Octo 8 actually. That's the Tier 2 Stinger, and I run that on my webbing set that I used for the Falklands game, and it was great for that because I really wanted to not have like the big aerials and stuff because it really wasn't in keeping with the look that I was trying to go for. So that was quite nice because it tucked up all up inside and you couldn't really see it, but I could still run like a Baofeng comms and stuff.
It's a tough one because if we're playing at Apocalypse, it's not the best site for comms, is it? The whole nature
it is difficult.
Of the site
it
itself.
Is tough there. It's tough.
Hilly,
there.
The woods, the structures. I think he was telling me the other week, or when I was down there. I think that's the highest hill in Kent or something.
something like
What's
that.
that?
You
Yeah,
are
I'm
quite
sure
high, you are quite elevated there. But I sent you a couple of
It's
texts
just
on
like
the
that, isn't it?
in our WhatsApp group the other day from my friend who previously worked with seriously big ships. And what he used to have was running braided copper, which would be soldered onto the antenna. So where Mike's whip antenna is there, the actual the base of it, just before where the antenna is, they'd cut it off. And they'd solder actually braided copper. And what he'd do is you'd run probably a 2 meter length of it, and he'd run it up and down through all the molly of his back of his plate carrier, like that, just to obviously have a better signal. And that's how we'd run his comms.
It turns your entire back into basically an antenna.
It basically turns the back of your plate carrier into an antenna. So we'd have that actually on ops, like out in Afghan or whatever, and it would be a bit of it's like plaited. It's like a cable. If you're electricians out there, or like a cable sock, if you push it in, it expands, and then as you pull it tight, it pulls tight around the cable that you're trying to pull through a ducting or anything like that. And you literally run it up and down all through the molly like that, and it's out of sight, out of mind, and your antenna's there all the time. Then it's a big antenna. Then obviously you're going to emit a bigger signal. Little trick.
So so I've got my antenna runs obviously down the back. I've got the antenna relocation pouch there, which just holds it sort of in my middle back, just under my shoulder blade, to be honest, and that just obviously extends up over the top. My relocation cable I've got tucked in, goes under this pouch and then runs off to the left, which I'll show you in a bit. My earpiece, so I actually run like a bouncer style in-ear earpiece. I personally struggle with my hearing. I've had rabbits and things when I was a kid. Do you know how many times I've heard that joke, Lance? None.
Not from me, you haven't.
No, I haven't heard it from anyone because I can't hear very well.
Hey!
So yeah, I run this in-ear earpiece because I struggle to discern between surrounding noise and comms. So I need to kind of keep that clarity. So my right ear is actually my better ear, hence why I've always got the earpiece generally in my left ear. So that's where my in-ear earpiece goes, and that runs back down the side, down the left of the cummerbund, and then my PTT runs over the top. So my PTT comes out here. So this has got a little mic on the end and a push button on this side, and that's the whole setup. So I don't have anything in front of my face or anything like that. All the comms generally just comes over my shoulder. I've just got the earpiece, and that if I want to talk, it's just literally just talking to your shoulder. Now it's not as good as the contact system or anything like that. So obviously when you've got that on, the mic is there, so that picks up a much quieter noise. So if you want to whisper, that's better. And similarly, throat mics and things, I've tried those in the past, and they're generally quite good. It just depends on how the quality of your throat mic and the rustling of noise.
That's what I like about that. Say those Raycals with that right ear bone conducting microphone. If you whisper, you know what I mean.
I want to give those a go at some point because with my eardrums,
I'd quite like to hear that.
I think that might be better to get in the bones rather than in the ear.
Get it in the bones.
So this is the left of my cummerbund on my plate carrier. So I've got the two cables there coming in on the right from my PTT and my earpiece and the relocation cable. I've got this little pouch here, which basically is just purely there to accommodate extra cable. So because I haven't got anything cut down to like proper customized widths or anything like that, because I do tend to move. So that pouch there is a little survival kit tin pouch, and it basically just folds up. I can just tuck all the cables in there. It keeps it all neat and tidy out of the way. Nice. And then the UV9R just fits in there with the little clip with the Kenwood adapter we were talking about, and then that's got the little quick release on there as well. So I can just unplug all of that, go and charge the radio or whatever if I need to. But that keeps it sort of fairly neat and squared away.
Do we know if the 9R's got any improved output over the 5R? Or is it
right? Yes, I looked this up. So
I'm glad you did.
The UV5R is 5 watts generally. The UV9R is advertised as up to 18 watts.
What?
Now it's advertised as up to 18 watts. That would mean pretty much one of the most powerful radios in the world at that point. And from several forums that I shut up, Lars. Sorry, I just got that.
I know. So what you're saying is I'm potentially holding one of the most powerful radios in the world in my hand right now.
So from a lot of the reviews I've seen of people kind of testing these with proper testing kit, they're getting about 4 to 5 watts out of them. I think the highest anybody got out of it was about 6. Now that's actually a good thing, because if it's obviously above that 5 watt rating, then it goes back to that whole licensing thing, because the license takes it up to 5 watts. So you don't really want to be above 5 watts. And to be honest, with a 5 watt radio and a decent aerial, you should be getting fairly good signal anyway.
So, Mike, for devil's advocate, then, if you were above 5 watts, what sort of licensing would you require to run the radio set that you've got? Is that a commercial license of some sort? Or
so you start looking at commercial licensing. You start having to look at things like, the proper radio tests and stuff that you have to do to be, I can't remember the name of it, like a proper radio operator and things like that. Because there's certain things that you need to start looking at, because it's not so much.
Well, like a proper ham radio license sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not an expert in this, and this is purely my research. So please, people, tell me I'm wrong if I am wrong. But the problem is that you start basically impacting a lot further away from where you are. So if you're standing on an airsoft site screaming "fuck" down the radio, which technically you shouldn't be doing anyway under Ofcom regs.
No, I must admit,
because anyone can pick that up. That's the problem.
When I've been doing marshalling. Apocalypse, obviously the radios they've got there, the batteries aren't the best in the world, but the radios are pretty good. And there was a couple of them there that were chucking a few Fs over the comms, having a bit of banter, and I always forget the guy's name. Usually stands behind the shop, and he drives like a Discovery. Is he a paramedic? Maybe ex-paramedic. Not sure. Anyway, but he basically come over the comms and said, "Watch your language, because these comms are heard in wherever, so many miles away, and you're swearing, blah 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 blah."
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, a lot of industrial sites and stuff will use similar comms to this. They'll either use PMR or sort of a cheap license and stuff, because it's just helpful for what they're doing.
Hospitals, things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of power, they're pretty much the same as far as I'm aware.
Just don't say fuck or bugger.
Exactly.
I don't know, can you say bugger?
I don't know. I think they're starting to be pedantic about what comes under swearing.
Maybe Ofcom need to release a list of sweary that you're allowed to use on radio.
Well, I think you want to just be careful where you use the word bugger. There's certain parts of town you just wouldn't want to.
Yeah, especially in a woods full of geezers.
Yeah. Cool, right, there's a couple questions that have come in. So Rage Files Epic Cans, it's the hearing protection for him. Between years of loud bangs and a lifetime of loud music, my hearing is shoot. I think they're shot. But
these.
Harry Badger. Hi, Harry. With the lid cans, do you have any issues knowing which direction the sound is coming from?
No.
I have a set of cans, but couldn't tell where sounds of fire were coming from.
No.
With those contacts, you know exactly where it's coming from. If anything, it enhances it. But that's what you're getting your money's worth.
The only thing I would say is I've been with Lance when he's been wearing these amplifying headphones. I don't know which one.
That was when I first. That was my first outing, and I didn't turn the ambient sound up. I had it off nearly.
Basically, Lance and I are walking through the forest trying to be stealthy, and Lance is like, Mike, let's go over there.
Yeah, I hadn't quite tweaked the settings correctly on my headset, so yeah, that was a lesson learned quickly, wasn't it, Mike?
Wayne's jumped in. I have the problem of the UV5R turning on the FM radio at the worst possible time. So yeah, one of the
little tip for that is just pick the fucking emergency. Yeah, just pull it out. Just pull it out and put a bit of tape over it, and it'll never happen ever again. That's what me and Mr. Wanstall done. It was Mr. Wanstall's idea. He said, "Right, I've had enough of this." He said, "Give me that." He said, he whipped his knife out and just went doink, doink. Like, that's not happening ever again. Put a bit of tape over it. I was like, "Oh, nice one. Solve that problem."
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Yeah. One of the other things I would recommend with these is actually reading the manual, because there's a lot of functionality with these that hundreds of people don't get. I am unofficially the comms guy of our team. And every live in a bed, I have to put there and program it for everyone.
You were the comms guy up until the point where you done that lovely spreadsheet for us. You said, right, these are all the comms codes for the weekend. So we typed them all in, and then about 10 minutes later, you come up and said, "You know those comm codes?" I went, "Yep." Went, "Yeah, they're all bollocks. Don't use any of them."
Yeah, so
this guy's the comms guy because this guy doesn't want to read the fucking manual.
I'm too busy listening to the FM.
Well, not anymore.
Like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, so when you get the UK Simple license, it comes with a set of frequencies that it kind of recommends you can use. So I just like picked some random ones off of there, thinking, yeah, that'll be fine. Put the document together and send that out, thinking this will solve all the problems. Everyone knows exactly what frequency they're on.
God, Mike's such a great guy.
Yeah, one of the teams got to the event and they were like, Mike, our frequency doesn't work. It doesn't go down that low. I was like, oh, but I'll tell you what, that was only like 6 people out of the 30 that had actually bothered to check it in advance. So,
Lessons
but
learned
there is a lock button on there as well, and things that you can obviously turn various functionality on and off and bits and pieces as well. So,
definitely lock it. Yeah, once it's all set up, just lock it.
Lock.
Unlock.
Lock.
Menu.
I have that whip aerial. I run my radio at the front and tuck the top of the whip into my shoulder strap cover. That's the other thing. I know my brother does that. That's obviously quite a useful thing to do.
Yep, definitely.
And yeah, Dan, if you press 0 for a few seconds, it tells you the battery level, supposedly. So I can't test that because this one's flat, unfortunately. But
I'm doing it on
mine, but mine's flat as well.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what, I'll push the 0 button. Yep, it's definitely flat. So
battery's dead.
No, doesn't do it on mine.
It also tells you when you try and turn it on and it doesn't come on that the battery's dead also.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Wayne. I'm sorry. It was literally 5 minutes into it. Like, I think we were just about to start the game, and someone went, "Oh yeah, I don't think the radios are working." It's like, oh, and I had to run around and fix everyone's radios. Other than that, in terms of communications, because we'll wrap this up because I'm conscious of the time. Obviously, there are also hand signals and things you can do as well. Verbal communication is quite a good one.
Yeah, obviously, if you're out on the field and patrolling that, though, you should be sort of genned up on sort of your basic sort of fieldcraft hand signals. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you got your 2 ICs on me and this, that, and the other, and indicating enemy and fuck off and all that. All the things you can't say on Ofcom because on the radio you can develop things in the field for that.
Much you like with that.
If you get hit in the face by a sniper, you can just point and.
Yeah.
But yeah, hand signals are great, guys. I mean, obviously. If you're out passing signals back, passing messages back through your team, through your section, making sure the last man's understood what you're going to be doing, making sure everyone's knows what the plan is going forward. So if you do get split up, you've got your emergency RV points, you've got your where your RV are during the mission. You've got your waypoints and things like that. You've reached this radioing into 0, calling things in, getting straight on the comms when you come under fire. Anything like that, I mean, it's all bits and bobs that you can look up, and there's documents online for correctly using the comms. If from a MilSim point of view, if you really want to take on the immersion and really get into it, obviously, it's definitely worth having a read up on it, and obviously getting your guys, your team, to do the same and sort of all gen up and and it sort of adds to the experience then as well, because obviously you're going to be using the comms correctly, you're going to be using it sort of like a military-esque kind of way, and it's going to make you feel a lot better, and hopefully you'll enjoy using your comms a lot more than you would if you was just jimmying about in the woods, just shouting and ordering down a handset. So
builds teamwork as well. Obviously, I mean,
definitely,
from a communication point of view, but you just rather than just spend the weekend on your own hiding in a bush, you can actually talk to other people in other bushes. And ask them how their bush is.
Yes.
I'll tell you what doesn't help is
have they got a floppy aerial in their bush?
You're playing Op 4 at Apocalypse on a Taliban MilSim, and your only comms are someone basically impersonating Team America's Afghan terrorists running around going, Durka, Durka, Durka. And you're going, well, what does that mean? Over there. Next thing you're getting laced up. Dirk Bacala.
Right, well, before we get shut down for being, politically incorrect, next week we've got our Christmas special. So it's going to be an hour and a half long, which, judging by how long our episodes have been getting, that's not really going to be too much of a special. But after the episode, we're going to have a half-hour Q&A, just general chat and stuff. So if anyone wants to sort of stay with us, we're going to have a few drinks, throw some questions in, and we'll just rant. We can party games if you want. We can give that a go.
Are we gonna have hats? So is it going to be best dressed for next week?
If you want, mate, go for it. If anyone wants to send us anything,
not just me. We've all got to agree to it.
No, you do what you want, mate.
Yeah. Next week is fancy dress, Lance.
Is everyone up for that? For voting on me, Paul, and Mike for best dressed for next week for a Christmas special?
I think the chat takes a couple of seconds to come through. So it might be a little while, but...
I'll send a postcard anyway. Let's end it there quick, shall we?
We're obviously going to be doing, so it'll be a general Q&A where we'll just talk like stories and stuff. And if anyone's got any questions that we obviously haven't covered so far, just throw it at us. And then, the episode itself is going to be on our top sort of 30 gadgets. So we've got quite a few gadgets that we've been sort of looking through, trying to sort of gauge. The guys have been judging them this week.
I like my 55-inch OLED TV. Does that count? So there's a no.
I've become quite fond of my butt plug with a paracord tied to it now, if I'm honest.
Cool. On that note, guys, we'll see you soon.
There could be a special guest next week as well.
Oh, there might be a special guest next week as well, apparently.
There may be a special guest next week.
Are you just going to dress up like Santa Claus? Is this what this is?
See you later.
Let's end it there, shall we?
Right. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys.